November last year, I gave birth to our first baby. It's the first in my family and the sixth in my husband's family. It's important to say that all 6 kids are boys and my mother-in-law is in some sick, crazy girl phase. Ever since we made the announcement, my mother-in-law convinced herself that I was pregnant with a girl. I told her that once we knew the gender, she would be the first person to know. Lo and behold, it was a boy. We told my mother-in-law we were having a boy, but she was still convinced it was a girl. She told the whole side of the family that it was a girl, and I corrected her, but she told them I was just annoyed because I wanted a boy first. I wanted a healthy baby. I didn't give a damn about the sex. She told them that we were naming the girl after her mom, which we will never do because my hubby hates his grandma. When the baby shower gifts started to come, I noticed a lot of things that wasn't in the register, like embroidered things with the grandma's name on it. Well, the baby was born, and imagine the surprise, it was a boy, just like we have been telling everyone. The problem, for them at least, is that now the baby has plenty of girl clothes that we plan on putting on our son, specifically for his family video calls and for pictures with them. After Saturday, my mother-in-law gave us a call and started screaming because specifically for his family video calls and for pictures with them. After Saturday, my mother-in-law gave us a call and started screaming because we were making the elders uncomfortable for not sticking to a masculine color scheme for the baby's clothes. She said we have to stop being childish. She just thought my belly shape was more like a girl than for a boy. I told my mother-in-law that we will not be changing the baby's clothes and just to wait until the dresses start fitting. He will look adorable. Am I wrong for demanding my girlfriend to change her dress for a wedding? This happened during this weekend, me being in my early 30s and my girlfriend in her late 20s. I was invited to a wedding ceremony of a colleague and I could bring someone with me. I asked my girlfriend that I've been dating for a year if she would like to join me, and she was really happy because she apparently loves weddings. Since we don't live together, I drove to pick her up so we'd have some time to spare before the ceremony. She's also wearing an off-white dress that was rather ornate. As she comes out, she looks really beautiful and has obviously put in time to fix her hair and makeup. As she got in, I told her she looked stunning, but I asked if she could change into a different colored dress for the ceremony. I'm not one for etiquette by far, but one of the few things I have heard everywhere is that you should not wear white to a wedding, unless you're the bride. She became pretty upset and wanted to know what was wrong with her dress. I said that it would be inappropriate to wear a white or off-white dress unless you're the bride, and that it's like wedding law or something, trying to be lighthearted about it. She rolled her eyes and said that it was an outdated tradition about women and virginity, and that when her friends got married, everyone wore white and that it's not a big thing anymore. I still thought she should change to another color but white or almost white because my colleague was getting married and we had no idea how she felt about it. My girlfriend became really upset and told me I was trying to control what she was wearing and that it was abusive. Which honestly made me really upset and hurt. I said something along the lines of, "Duck, well you shouldn't go to a wedding with an abuser then." And then I told her to get the F out of my car. She began to cry and wanted to apologize and give me a hug. But I just told her to get out, which she did. To clarify, we never left the driveway by her home. I did not drop her off in the middle of nowhere or anything like that. I drove off and she called and texted me a bunch. I answered, "I don't want to talk right now," and then turned my phone off and attended the ceremony. The bride was the only one that was wearing white, so I feel as if my gut feeling was in the right. When I got home, my phone had blown up by text from her and her best friend saying that I was being inconsiderate and controlling and should apologize for my behavior. I feel as if I was in the right since it was my colleague's wedding and it was better to be safe than sorry, but I'm also not sure if I was being an asshole about the situation. I don't understand people's obsession with trying to wear white to someone else's wedding. You don't even know the person either. It's your boyfriend's, a colleague's wedding. Like, huh?
We'll tell you, if you're a parent, you know you found yourself in conversations that are just like, how did this happen? Let me tell you, the single most random conversation I've ever had happened at my dinner table. So my oldest son was already out of the house. My daughter, Caitlin, was probably 15. Jacob was like 11 and a half, 12. And my wife was sitting across from me. And my daughter just starts to cry. She's like, oh. Hey guys, I'm so embarrassed that I haven't shared this with you, but you're my parents and I love you and I don't want you to be disappointed in me, but I love you so much. And she said, I just want you to know I'm dating Amanda, which is her best friend. I go, okay. And then Jacob goes, I'm in an Armenian gang. I was like, what? I turned to my wife, I'm like, before I go any further, do you have anything you'd like to admit? She's like, no, nothing that beats either one of these. I was like, yeah. So I said to my daughter, I go, babe. And she goes, no, I'd like to hear about the gang first. I go, yeah, me too. Okay. I said, hey, man, tell me what that means. You're in an Armenian gang. And he goes, well, we sit at lunch together and we make fun of the other Armenians.
Am I wrong for hiding embarrassing notes in my house as a joke because I know my fiance's mom snoops? I bought a house 7 years ago and I met my fiance, Al, 4 years ago. We were talking about making it a home for both of us. But as of now, he hasn't moved much stuff in. Right now, 95% of the stuff and furniture in the house is mine. When his mom comes over, she's kind of a snoop. He was used to that, but when she comes to our house, it's so uncomfortable because she's just going through my shit. When I am bothered, she's like, I was just helping with chores, etc. He says I should just let her because she has a lot of nervous energy. One thing she snooped on was actually embarrassing. In my home office, I had a little affirmation post-it note on my monitor saying, I am smart, I am skilled, I am deserving of great things. And it was a silly thing my therapist recommended to get me in a confident mindset before an interview. Anyway, she made a comment about my ego, but as a joke, I decided to do it again. I had my best friend over and we got wine drunk and wrote a bunch of affirmations to hide. Some were medicine cabinet, my tooth will regrow, I am a shark-like and powerful. Kitchen drawers, I know when to spoon, but I also know when to fork. I am sexy and self-assured. Work desk, I will not just F my way to the top of the company, I will F my way to the top of the world. Walk-in closet. I am beautiful with clothes and without, especially without. My boobs are legendary. There was a bunch more and my friend and I had a hilarious time writing them. Next time mother-in-law came over, she saw a few, and she didn't acknowledge them to me even though she definitely started acting a little weird around me. I went to run some errands and when I was out, she confronted Al about the notes and was trying to tell him that I seemed unstable, egoistical, and moving in was a bad idea. She showed him the notes and he didn't really know what to make of it. He asked me and I said that they were just some silly private notes to boost my self-confidence and make myself laugh. Had she been going through my things? Oh, you're smart. God, women are so smart. I love women. He said that she was just tidying and saw them, and they were really weird. I was like, have you met me? You should know how weird I am. Anyway, if you don't want your mom seeing my weird shit, you've got to stop letting her go through my shit. He asked if I left them on purpose to annoy her, and I admitted that was kind of the joke, but I also have other weird or private shit, so what I said about her needing to stop snooping if she didn't want to find weird crap was still for real. He said I was making stuff hard for him. His mom was really protective and adjusting to him moving in with his girlfriend for the first time, and I was agitating her on purpose and making her think I wouldn't be a good partner when he wanted her to have the opposite impression of me. So, am I the asshole for the note prank? No, I think this is funny. Like, I don't understand the need for people to, how people can be so comfortable to snoop through other people's things. You know, that's just weird. Am I wrong for naming my child behind my wife's back? So my wife and I, 27 female and 29 male, recently had a baby, a sweet baby girl, an absolute ball of joy. We started discussing names a few months before she was born, but we just kept getting into arguments because we just couldn't come to an agreement. I'm a traditional man. I like traditional names with a rich history and profound meaning. My wife, on the other hand, wants to name our child something unique, something that literally no one else on the earth will think of. Some of her suggestions include Huhi, Juji, Yaba, and Booza. Buzza? Booza. Buzza. I like Yaba. Yabba dabba doo. Anyone can say that these names are absolutely ridiculous, and she will probably never land a respectable job. By the way, we're both Caucasian, so these are not cultural names or anything. I suggested some names like Amelia, Ella, and Sophia, but she said those were too common. We put off the topic of names for a while, but naturally after she was born, we started talking about it again. She insisted on the name Buzza, but I absolutely refused. I told her no one will take her seriously with a name like that and that she was just pursuing the novelty of a unique name without thinking about the actual works for her. I realized that she was completely set on the name that she chose and there was no other way I could convince her otherwise. So the next morning I went by myself to register our daughter's name because I was worried my wife would go and do it first. I chose a really pretty name for her that wasn't too old-fashioned and I thought my wife would be okay with it. But when I got home and told her, she was furious with me. She said I was an asshole, but I think she'd be the bigger asshole for giving our daughter a name that could ruin her life. I think you're the asshole-ish. You should never go behind your partner's back and name your child something without both consent, without the consent from both parents. But what the fuck is Yabba Dabba, or what was it, Booza? Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with you guys? What about... I got married 4 years ago, and my husband and his family are many times over millionaires. My family is just middle class. Our wedding cost around $700K paid by him and his parents. My parents gave me a flat fee of $10K for a dress, which they are also giving to my sister too. My sister and her fiance are lower class. She has $170K in student loan while he has $110. They have $18K in medical debt and $35K in credit card debt. Well, last night was my sister's birthday dinner and she announced she was engaged and wanted help paying for her wedding. She gave me a spreadsheet of how much she was going to need for her dream wedding. Anyways, her dream wedding is supposed to cost $100K, and as her only sister, I need to step up and help pay for her wedding since her parents are only giving her $10K for a dress. She said she needs me to give her at least $70K since I'm rich now. When I told her I'm not giving her $70K, she cried and said it wasn't fair how I get whatever I want. When she realized I wasn't going to budge, she broke down about how I'm just using motherhood to be greedy and lazy. I have 2-year-old twins. How I get whatever I want. When she realized I wasn't going to budge, she broke down about how I'm just using motherhood to be greedy and lazy. I have 2-year-old twins. I eventually told her I wasn't going to be bullied into giving her $70K. She's 15 weeks pregnant, hence why she's in a rush to be married right away. When I tried to leave, she just snapped and said I'm a bad mother since my mother-in-law stays over often to help. Anyway, she screamed about how I lied about my postpartum depression for the first few months after giving birth and it wasn't real, and I only used it to cover up how much of a terrible mother I am. An even worse wife since I wasn't well enough for intercourse for a few months. I told my mom and my mom told her. I feel bad for her since I know she's struggling, but I hate her for saying that kind of stuff in front of strangers. My brother, who's usually neutral, says I should forgive her since she's stressed from crippling debt and has 2 kids and a third on the way. She's claimed I'm jealous of her since she's younger. She's 25 and I'm 33. And now since I'm over 30, my husband is probably cheating on me with the housekeeper and nanny for all I know since I'm never home. I have helpers twice a week, mostly just to go to the salon with my friends and a weekly date night.